Welcome back. We are now in the final stretch of former President Trump's so-called hush money trial. Closing arguments begin today. They are expected to last all day, possibly going into tomorrow. The defense will deliver their closing arguments first, followed by the prosecution. This is the reverse order of opening statements. Typically, the prosecution goes first at the end, and then the defense responds. Trump called this unfair on Truth Social, writing this: "Why is the corrupt government allowed to make the final argument in the case against me? Why can't the defense go last? Big advantage, very unfair." After closing arguments, Judge Merchan will then instruct the jury on the law before sending them off to deliberate. Trump attorney Alina Habba says she's concerned that the judge will deliver instructions that are biased toward the prosecution. Watch.
I have zero confidence in the fact that this person, who should not be sitting on the bench right now, will do the right thing and give jury instructions that are in an appropriate manner without any persuasion towards the prosecution. There's my biggest concern. It always has been. So now you've held jurors for 5 weeks. We've been sitting here. We saw no facts. And the last resort for the prosecution is going to be this judge with political motivations going to give them instructions on how to decide the fate of a former president and the future president of the United States.
Joining me now is defense attorney David Gelman. He's a former deputy district attorney and Trump legal surrogate. David, thanks very much for weighing in this morning. Give us your expectations and reaction to all of this.
Thanks for having me, Maria. You know what? Alina is exactly right. I mean, look, Judge Merchan, is he biased? Of course he is. You know, color me shocked to say he's not. Now, these jury instructions that he's going to be delivering after the closings of the defense and the prosecution, number one, they're going to be extremely confusing. In fact, most attorneys don't even know how jury instructions go. So this jury, they're not even going to remember this as soon as they walk in the door to the deliberation room. But the beauty is, Maria, the judge is allowing the jury to pick a crime that's associated with the business record. So they have to have a second crime. So it could be anything. I mean, it's pretty much just like going to a drive-thru and saying, you know, I'll take business records and a side of fries. This is exactly what's happening in the jury that's going to be deliberating in New York City for President Trump. It is completely unfair. It's completely biased. Frankly, this should never even get to the jury. This should be a directed verdict, meaning the judge should dismiss it. But you and I know that's not happening. Well,
how is that possible? I mean, how is that allowed? Most people, via the polls that we're looking at, do say that this trial is a sham, that they have been unable to actually prove a crime. There's a new Wall Street Journal op-ed this morning that says Alvin Bragg has not proven his case in the Trump trial, saying, quote, "The evidence shows why the charges should never have been brought to begin with." And this is from the editorial board. David, what do you think about this? Do you think Bragg has proven what he is calling a second crime? What has been proven and what hasn't been?
No. In fact, he hasn't even proven the first crime.
Right.
Remember, this is a business records case, okay? And the business records was that Donald Trump paid Michael Cohen for legal services. Nothing about that is illegal, and everything that has been said in this trial so far has gone to that. Michael Cohen admitted, yeah, these are legal services. Now, look, I know nobody can trust Michael Cohen because he's a proverbial liar, but still, these are business expenses. So there's not a second crime. Remember, Maria, the FEC, which is the Federal Election Commission, they never wanted to try this case. The DOJ, they didn't want to try this case. Alvin Bragg didn't even want to try this case. The only reason that he did it is because former DAs in his office went and wrote a book pretty much saying, hey, Alvin, you really should do this because it's political. So there's no way, nothing has been proven here. That's why I keep saying there should be a directed verdict, meaning the judge should take it out of the jury's hands and he should say, you know what, prosecution, you did not meet your burden. You did not find that there is a crime here. Donald Trump, go home, go campaign.
So we're entering the 7th week. We could have one of 3 outcomes. Number one, not guilty on all 31 counts. Unlikely. Number two, hung jury, which means a mistrial. Still a win, but the outcome requires a single juror to believe there's reasonable doubt here. Number three, a guilty verdict. That this is uncharted waters. Some charges carry 4-year prison sentence. Where do you think this is going?
Well, again, this should be an acquittal. I mean, no doubt in my mind. If this was anywhere else other than Manhattan, of course it would be. Again, wouldn't even go to the jury. I have a feeling, though, we're going to be talking about a hung jury, which is still a win. But the reason I'm saying that, Maria, is because let's be honest with everybody, all right? These are blue people, all right? Blue workers, blue, Manhattan. They're not too keen on Donald Trump, but you only need one, as you stated. And if they're being true to themselves, at least one of them is going to say, you know what? Even though I might not care for President Trump, there is reasonable doubt, meaning there's something there, doesn't matter how big or how small, that I can see that President Trump probably did not do this or did not intend for this. That's all you need. So 1 out of 12, that's going to definitely happen, but it should be an acquittal.
Did you see the jury selection sheets of who the jury is? I spoke with someone over the weekend, and she told me that they're all Trump haters. Did you see them? Do you know how they chose the jury, and did you read about them?
I have read about them, Maria. Yes, in fact, there's 2 attorneys.
Do you think they're all Trump haters?
We're in Manhattan, of course.
Wow.
I mean, it's not the 5 boroughs here. It's just one.
Manhattan.
It's Manhattan. Yeah. So, President Trump, even though he had that huge rally in the Bronx, they're not here on the jury. It's only Manhattan, and they're not keen on President Trump. I don't know why, but it is what it is. That's the cards are dealt. But I tell you, just need one.
Let's just go through the other remaining trials. The Georgia trial scheduled for August, though that could be delayed. You've got the Supreme Court decision on Trump's claim of total presidential immunity. That will come in late June. We'll see how that goes. And, of course, the other 2 criminal trials remain on hold. January 6th case in D.C. and the documents case in Florida. If President Trump is convicted, do you still believe he can win? How does that play out if he's convicted?
100%. Look, the Democrats, all they want to do is put a G in front of President Trump, meaning guilty. But what's going to happen, let's just say in the very, very unlikely event that he is found guilty, his defense attorneys are going to file for an interlocutory appeal, meaning they are going to appeal the decision of the judge and the jury immediately. And that will go up to the appellate division. And I can guarantee you they are going to send it back and get it remanded because there are so many mistakes here in this trial. It makes Ringling, Barnum, and Bailey look like a normal place. The judge here, I'm pretty sure he went for the Guinness Book of World Records for the most mistakes he could possibly make as a judge. So I can tell you this, if there's a guilty verdict, it will be coming back and he will be found not guilty in the very end. But again, the Democrats, they just want to have that G in front of President Trump's name so they can go out and advertise, hey, look, President Trump, he was found guilty, even though the whole world knows this is a sham trial.
Yeah, what were the mistakes that Merchan made?
Well, number one, he should have recused himself. Remember, his daughter is making money off of this trial. She is a Democratic operative. She works for for Democrats, and they are campaigning just on this issue alone. There's a law in New York where if you are 6 removed, or if your family member is 6 removed from the judge, and there's a particular just propriety that you potentially have a bias, the judge has to remove himself, not may, not shall, has to. And this judge refused to do so. He then admonished Robert Costello, who was pretty much the only witness for the defense, which boggled my mind and pretty much any other legal scholar you could possibly talk to. And then the third thing that he didn't do, he never allowed the FEC expert, Brad Smith, to come and testify regarding what is and what is not an FEC violation. It's totally bogus and it's totally biased. Again, it just shows.
That's incredible, really incredible. We'll be watching this. We so appreciate your time this morning, David. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.